Each morning that we are blessed to wake up and live our life, we are also living amongst rules that many of us never chose. Today, I am inviting you to think about the rules that you're living your life by. Hi, I'm Jessica Ozrek, and I am a transformational coach. I also have spent over 20 years placing top creative and marketing professionals in freelance and full-time jobs across the United States. Today, I am recording in London, England, where my family and I are finishing up a 5.5-week trip around Europe. And this is only possible because I have challenged the rules that I live my life by. And I want to share the value of doing this if you want to create a life that you love. And so first, what is a life that we love? A life we love is a life where we wake up and we experience the feelings that we would love. So I want you to think back at this morning. What were some of the thoughts and the feelings that you first had when you woke up? Were they, oh, I do not want to get out of bed? Or were they, oh my gosh, I love my life. I cannot wait to get out of bed and start living it today. Or maybe it was somewhere in between. My intention today is to give you tools so that you can grow your awareness and start to choose the way you live your life so that you can create a life that you love. So let's talk about living our lives by rules that other people have given us. So in finishing up this 5.5-week journey, I've traveled through Spain, through France, and most recently, England. We're flying out tomorrow morning back to Virginia, where my family and I live. So why did I decide to take this 5.5-week trip? Well, I love to travel, but it was also to break the monotonous routine that I had been in over the past 3 years. I felt like it was sucking the life out of me, and I had to shake things up regardless of the circumstances that were supporting me or not. So one of the most valuable gifts that I received in having this 5.5-week journey was that I got to challenge the rules, but I also was able to start seeing my own life from different perspectives. Because as we experience life in different cultures, there's different rules, there's different ways of living. And I start to see the pros and cons of living in this area versus that area versus the life that I'm already living in Virginia. So many of the things that we typically call normal behavior or that we feel we are supposed to do is simply learned behaviors. And that's where I want us to put our focus today so that we can grow our awareness and you can start regaining your power to make decisions based on rules that serve you. Are you in for that? All right, let's go. So I started to ask myself, what are the rules that I'm living my life by? And how can I bend those or recreate those to really support something that I love? Now, when I set out to create this journey, this 5.5-week European trip, I didn't tell everybody. Actually, my husband and I kept this between us for several months. And that's very important to do. You want to protect your dream, whether that's going for a new job, having a dream vacation, moving, building a new home, whatever, starting a new family, whatever it looks like for you. I really encourage you to protect it. Just like if we were to bring in a brand new baby, we don't take that baby and pass it around to everybody. We make sure that their hands are washed, that they're close to us, whether they're relatives or close friends, because just like a baby, our dream, when it's first evolving, it is also vulnerable. And what is it vulnerable? It's vulnerable to other people's opinions. And so we kept it very, very close to us for a long time. I didn't even tell my parents. My husband didn't tell his mother. We didn't even tell our children that we were going on this trip. We started creating it. And that's what I first invite you to do, is to really give yourself the time and the space to have a safe incubator to create this dream that you would love. So back to looking at the rules. The first day that we decided to venture deeper into London, to more of the central London, and check out Buckingham Palace, St. James Park, and Hyde Park, we were leaving the tram, and I was walking with my husband and my 3 children. And as we're walking out of the tram, there's signs along this exit hallway. And of course, it's full of people, but the signs say, "Do not run." And amongst all these people in this walkway, this one guy stands out to me. He's a few feet away, and he gets this big smile on his face, and he looks over at his daughter, and in his British accent, he says, "We're not supposed to run. Would you like to run?" And she looks back at him, and her face lights up, and she smiles and shakes her head yes, and they start running down the exitway. Now, it was crowded, but it wasn't so crowded that they were going to hurt anybody. But this moment really stood out to me. And it just seems so precious. And this is the essence of my share with you today, is that, I'm not asking you to go out there and break rules that were put in place to keep us safe, but I want you to question the rules that you live your life by each day. Because many of the rules that we wake up and make major life decisions on are based on rules that others put on us. Maybe it was well-meaning parents. Maybe it's been passed down generation to generation without a second thought. Maybe it's been societal expectations or fear. But I want you to look at your life and ask, who made up the rule of where I need to live? Who made up the rule by how much I need in my bank account before I start my business? Who made up the rule of what my family should look like? Who made up the rule of how I should raise my kids? And on and on and on. Because as we wake up each morning with the blessing of having a whole unpainted day in front of us, it is you that is going to experience the side effects of the decisions that you make. And so today I encourage you to ask yourself questions so that you grow your awareness by the rules that you're living your life. And there may be rules that others have put in place or society has put in place that you're like, I love this role. This role supports me. I love my job. Or yes, I want to get married or whatever it is. But then there's other roles that you're like, you know what, this doesn't serve me. And those are the ones that I want us to focus on today. So I'm going to give you a few examples of rules, and I want you to listen and see which resonate with you. All right. So work comes before life. Success requires burnout. Vacation is earned. You shouldn't leave a stable job. You have to wait until retirement to travel. You need permission before making a big decision. Good parents sacrifice everything. You shouldn't spend money on experiences. You shouldn't have debt. You have to know exactly how it will work before starting. Don't disappoint other people. Stay realistic. Don't dream too big. So of those, I invite you to write down one or two that resonated with you. And maybe add another one or two that came to mind as we were going through those. Take a moment now. The next question I'd like you to ask is, who taught me this? Who taught me this? Or where did it come from? Did it come from school, from parents, from religion, from culture, corporate America, fear? There have been many times throughout my life that I have questioned the rules that I live my life by. For example, when I started my recruiting firm, Elysian Staffing, I questioned the rule that you have to have a certain amount of money in your bank account in order to start your company. There were many rules that I questioned in order to create this 5.5-week European trip with my children. Now, my husband is a teacher, so he had off. I had changed my business from fully remote to a hybrid model. And that was my role. We are going to be a hybrid. And I set the role. But I decided because I set the rule, I can change the rule. And so I said for this time, for June and part of July, we are going to be fully remote again. And so even if we set our own rules, we can change them. I also felt the deep desire to book a one-way ticket. That was very important to me. And after we did it, we ended up starting to tell people, some people's responses that I was having a one-way ticket and didn't have a ticket back, they were very surprised. But this allowed me to have this feeling of freedom, that I had the flexibility. Now, we had an idea of when we wanted to come back, but it was still open-ended, and that was very important to me. And so the rule that you have to buy a return ticket before you leave is something that I broke to create this vacation experience of freedom for myself. And that was key for me. So these are a few examples, and I hope that this has helped you to start questioning some of the rules that you live your life by. And we're going to go through a few more questions right now. So if you have a journal, I invite you to take out your journal. What rules am I living by? Who gave me those rules? Are they helping me live a life I love? If no one else's opinion mattered, what would I choose? So here's what I would love for you to do this week. And I invite you to do this if you feel called. Find one rule. You don't have to overwhelm yourself by finding 5, 10, or 20, just one rule that you live by. And then question it. Maybe you keep it, maybe you rewrite it, but let it become your choice because this is your life and you deserve to live a life that you absolutely love. If you would like additional support in growing your awareness and making decisions to create a life that you love, I invite you to check out authera.com. And in the meantime, I invite you to watch this video. And remember, you can do it. I believe in you.